this a year of action. That's what most Americans want.
Raising the debt ceiling does not increase our debt. Nobody is listening to your telephone calls.
The debate is settled. Climate change is a fact. And if people can't trust not only the executive branch, but also don't trust Congress and don't trust federal judges, then we're going to have some problems.
What difference at this point does it make?
Everything is awesome.
That's right.
Everything is cool when you're part of a team.
Ellen DeGeneres says, quote, we're doing very, very well. I think everybody's very grateful you did this, Obama.
Everything is better when we stick together.
Kim Jong-un, baby. We'll put Kim Jong-un on screen. Kim Jong-un. I want to... Everything's awesome in North Korea, too. Of course, they're building re-education camps as well on record. That's in the official Army manuals. Training for gun confiscation. Their main enemy, gun owners, veterans. That's not a traitor government. No, good people are running things, folks.
Have you heard the news? Everyone's talking. Life is good.
We've got to do everything Kim Jong-un says.
More free time for my awesome community. Feel more awesome than an awesome possum. Get my body in charge.
By the way, if you just joined us, you are listening to the Alex Jones Show, broadcasting worldwide. They really are building FEMA camps. They call them Emergency Centers Establishment Act. They call them emergency centers, but it's the Emergency Centers Establishment Act, Civilian Inmate Labor Camp Program, Rex 84, Operation Cable Splicer, Miami Herald, Associated Press, Reuters. I just gave you all the real names. And then they sit around going, there's no FEMA camps, because they're not called FEMA camps, and there's no chemtrailing I keep hearing about. Is there geoengineering, Senator? I can't talk about classified programs with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Is there a Rex 84 Continuity of Government COG National Stabilization Force program through NORTHCOM and Fort Benning, Georgia, and others for mass gun confiscation under the Emergency Centers Establishment Act? That is a classified, see, it's not called a FEMA camp. They play these lawyer games. It's like coming up to Alibaba's cave and saying, open goblin belly. Open says a you. Open says a them. No. Open sesame. Open sesame. They play all these little games while they're building hell force against us. Training, armored vehicles, 24/7, all the training manuals, public, leaked to us. Back, we used to get them when they were secret. Now it's just public. Yeah, the main enemy is the Tea Party. We're trying to put them in re-education centers. Get the brigades ready. Troops, you will be facing the Tea Party and the Christian evangelicals. They may have to be dealt with, and you're going to have to pull triggers if things go south. We will be confiscating their firearms. I mean, you know, this is what's going on as they mass the illegal, evil, paramilitary domestic force. But I'm not trying to scare people before I go to your phone calls, because the good news is the globalists are smart, but they miscalculate. Just because they've got war games and all these sophisticated systems doesn't mean that they can understand it, or doesn't mean that the elite pulling the trigger and calling the shots are following a program that would win. Because when you expand on all of this, and when you look at this, what do you think it does when you march the military in and tell them George Washington's bad and wouldn't be welcome in today's army that he founded, and badmouth guys in John Deere caps in training drills, and literally tell them the Tea Party are terrorists and Christians are terrorists? I mean, that's mainstream news. What do you think the military does? They go, oh my gosh, Alex Jones was right. I mean, the ultimate psyop is the truth. The ultimate psychological warfare, the ace of spades, is the truth. And we have the weapon. We have the truth. We don't have to spin or lie or deceive to beat these people. We just got to tell the truth. But in a world of universal deceit, that is a revolutionary act, to quote George Orwell. And that's what Rand Paul did yesterday at Berkeley that's getting so much attention. He said, we have a shadow government running everything. Who watches the watchers? It's totally illegal. We've caught them lying over and over again. And they are setting brush fires in the mines of liberty that will burn down their New World Order. And it's none of their damn business to spy on our cell phones. It's illegal. And you know what? That's the type of language you should use. I'm not a very profane person. And I shouldn't be, because I've got a repertoire of semantical dialect that will allow me to create a full spectrum palette of verbal utterances that can transfer any sophisticated understanding that I wish to a greater public as an orator or orator animated by liberty. But sometimes you got to say, get out of our bleeping business. At a certain point, this is out of control. At a certain point, you got to turn it back. And all they're doing is racing headlong over, hoping they can take over, hoping they can race to the finish line before we wake everybody up. Think about how radical my show was 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 years ago, 5 years ago. 2 years ago, it was still seen as incredibly radical. It's not seen that radical. We got big stations all over the country, 50,000-watt AMs, 100,000-watt FMs, turning us on all over the place. Our numbers across the web just continue to surge and grow and explode. And people are like, man, I bet he's on a power trip. No, it's the opposite. It's like flying in over a German industrial site in a B-17, and you're flying to the biggest flat cloud you've ever seen. But I got to tell you, with pleasure, I steer into it. I love it. I'm ready. I'm going in. And if it's God's will, I go in, through, and beyond, then good. To quote Maximilian Schell from The Black Hole. We are going in, through, and beyond. And that's what life's all about. Whether you like it or not, you're going in, through, and beyond. Birth unifies us all. Death unifies us all. None of you will escape it. Not Ray Kurzweil, not Dianne Feinstein, not Barack Obama, no one, not Jay Carney. All you little guys that think you're smart for cheating and lying and stealing and manipulating, you think that's how you win. You win in the end by being honorable. You win in the end by doing what you say you're going to do. You win in the end by being chivalrous. I've done an hour and 40 minutes of global transmission. And before I go any further, I want to tell you how we fund our operation. With high-quality, pro-liberty T-shirts, books, films, the very best out there, InfoWarsStore.com. If you go to MadeIn1776.com, you can get the all-time best-selling gun shirt for men and women, the Molon Labe.